Hello again. I hope you're doing well. So we're diving back in today to the what if scenario, and we're going to look at what if the quality of your life is determined by your thoughts. That's it. What if every element of the quality of your life, your health, your mental state, your emotional state, your financial state, every state of being that you consider, say, throughout a typical day, is a reflection of your thoughts. Now, again, for some people who have been kind of traveling this path for a little while, you may already have come to realize that this is in fact true. And the good news today is for those who may question that statement, that we're now looking at scientific fact that proves that this is true. So, maybe 50 years ago or more, or 30 years ago, people who talked about these types of things would be called mystics or holistic healers or crazy by some. Only relying on the Western world's concept of medicine to heal or to change a lot of our states of being, especially our physical health. But today we know scientifically the energy of thought can now be measured and has been measured. And we know that when a group of people, for example, gather together and are raising their thought vibration together, that energy can be measured and is changed and can also be measured in the brain and in the body. So knowing that, there's quite a sense of freedom around that. Well, depending on what you're thinking most days, it may be a sense of freedom. It might be like, oh no, that's a big mess. Because you recognize that the way you're thinking most often is not in the most supportive of manners. But the most important thing around this concept is to start paying attention to what you're thinking about. And we are so hardwired, our brains are so hardwired to continue to think the things that we've thought, that I don't know what the statistic is, but 80% of the thoughts, probably even higher, that we think every day are the exact same thoughts, day after day after day after day. So as we think those things more and more and more and more, our reality becomes, our physical 3D reality becomes very clear to us. And then we switch it all around and say, no, it's not my thoughts. Look. This is the physical reality of my life. There's no denying that, I struggle with my health or my emotional well-being or my finances. It's the way it is. And I can explain to you all the other reasons, all the physical things going on around me and the people and the places and the things and the job that cause me to have these challenges. So it can't be my thinking. But again, when we know that thought is energy and energy attracts like energy, we're right back to that same theme that I've shared probably a little bit in each of these videos, which is we are what we think about. So the first step is to start paying attention to what you're thinking. And I mean like really paying attention. Even if you can't stick with it for an entire day because, yes, you have a job to go to and you have certain tasks to do and, you have responsibilities with children and other things that go on in your life. Even if you take a small segment of your day, maybe your morning, because often the way in which we approach our start of the day can really set up the rest of the day. And that's part of the reason why. Because if you're waking up in the morning and you're just thinking the same thoughts, and they happen to be, when you open your eyes, all the things I have to do today, I don't have enough time today, what am I going to fit in, what might I not be able to fit in, what am I going to do about that, How am I going to get that done? How am I going to go here? How am I going to get there? If that tends to be the cycle of thinking when you wake up, you're setting the tone through your thoughts for your day. So take a segment of your day to start and really pay attention to what you're thinking. And remember that if you can be paying attention to what you're thinking, it would mean that your thinking brain is the computer. The thinking is the repetitive stuff that it's just used to thinking. But what is this energy that is observing what you're thinking? Because that is what's happening. When you're asked to observe your thoughts, there's two things going on. Your brain isn't observing your thoughts. Your consciousness is observing your thoughts. Your consciousness is not your brain. Your consciousness is your energetic self, not the physical brain, which is the computer. So the good news is that you can rewire your brain. And for anyone who has read his books or followed his teachings, Dr. Joe Dispenza has become quite well known. And I belong to a Manifesting Miracles Facebook group, by the way. If you're interested or you don't already follow it, you might want to check it out because it's fantastic. And we do things like live meditations every week, and we do healing meditations where energetically and while we are distanced, we help to heal other people, because again, energy, we don't need to be in the same room. That's also been proven now. Our energy is immediate and exact when we're on the same frequency. That's all we need to be, is on the same frequency, and our energies are colliding. So we do this, we do some Dr. Joe Dispenza work in the Manifesting Miracles Facebook group, and it's quite fascinating and fun to implement the teachings that we find in the books. And one of the more well-known books that came out, I'm not sure, it was a number of years ago now, and I grabbed it up right away. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And Joe Dispenza gets into the neuroscience of how it is that we are so highly hardwired in our brain that we are no longer controlling our thoughts. And if we are no longer controlling our thoughts, then we are no longer controlling the outcome of our lives. And we work on practices that can break up and break down the hard wiring in the brain so that we can reconfigure a lot of our thoughts and our thinking in order to change the external realities in our life. And it's really exciting stuff, and it works. So I want you to give some thought to how you think. And within the course of a day, or at the end of the day, or again, as you're paying attention, you can always do a quick voice memo or put something in the notes in your phone. Notice the 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 things that you are repeatedly thinking about. Unfortunately, one of them that we know everybody seems to be talking and thinking about is this pandemic that we've been going through for the last little while, last year and a half or more now. But even there, if that's something that you're talking about, you're thinking about, note what you're thinking about it, because we all have very different thoughts around it, and it's important to note what you're thinking about. But whatever you're thinking about it, I guarantee you're bringing that energy around you. You bring articles, you bring news, you bring people, you bring circumstances that help defend the thoughts that you have, because your thoughts are still energy that are attracting or deflecting or blocking the opportunity to manifest what you'd like in your life. Your thinking is in control until you decide to take back the power. And luckily, neuroplasticity study over the last, again, I don't know, it's 20 years probably, or maybe more, even though I think in the mainstream we've heard about it for about the last 10 years, that we do have the ability to rewire our brains. You know, when we heard all the stuff about, our general personality is set by about the age of 6, and then by 35, almost every habit that we'll ever have is ingrained. And those things are true. But the good news is it doesn't mean that those things can't be changed. Now, if you've got some great habits behind you and great thinking patterns, and you're an extremely positively minded person, and you set your intentions and you have your vision boards, and you are clear, you're clear on what your intentions are for your day, for your week, for your month, for your life, then you likely are already living a pretty fantastic life. But that's because you're intentionally structuring your thought pattern. Most people just are not structured in their thought pattern. A lot of it is ingrained. But anything else that you may be thinking, you're still pulling those thoughts from things that you're being exposed to in this 3D reality. And the good news is, again, is you're rewiring. Through meditation and so on, we're striving to leave the 3D world, the physical world, and we're moving into the energetic world, the 5D reality, where all potential exists. Because remember, anything that has manifested itself here in our 3D physical reality started out first as a thought. Everything. Cars, tractors, condo buildings, people. They all started out as thought first. So you can pull opportunities from this 5D quantum field through your getting rid of the old methodology and repetitive thinking that keeps you blocked from new opportunities, and you quiet that mind down and you open up the space to attract in new thoughts, things that are more positive, things that are more inspiring, thoughts that will help you manifest what you truly desire. But you cannot get to new ways of living and being with old ways of thinking. And that's just the fact of the matter. So if you're happy with what's happening in your life and you're content with that, then pay attention to the thoughts and the clarity of intention that you do have and keep doing it. Or even try upgrading it a little. Try expanding it a little bit more and see what else you might be able to attract into your world. Now, some of us just want to attract more peace and quiet, or less hectic lives. You know, it's not always the physical stuff either that we may be trying to bring into our reality, but our thoughts will still help to create that. So those thoughts where we get, busy, 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 I'm busy, 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 I never have enough time, I don't know where I'm going to find time. All of that type of thinking creates more busyness. Our thoughts create our reality. So meditation, again, helps us to clear those thoughts, but also can help us bring in that sense of peace and calm, even despite the busyness and the craziness of this external world. We do not have to take on the energy of the external world unless we choose to. And by we intentionally working to change some of our not so helpful ways of thinking, we help change again the collective consciousness of the planet, which is what is happening right now on planet Earth. Our collective consciousness is rising. More and more people are coming to understand that they are far more powerful than they may have ever thought. And that if their thoughts create their reality, then what would be the harm in exploring that and elevating the opportunities to change our physical reality through changing the way in which we think? So that's what I wanted to throw out there for you today. It's a very empowering thought. And knowing this with the willingness to be consistent You know, again, diets are good until you're not consistent with them anymore. Physical fitness routines are great until you're no longer consistent with them anymore. And new ways of thinking are great until you fall back into the old way of thinking and things tumble backwards again. So if you say, I've tried that and it didn't work, it's not that it didn't work, it's that you fell back into your old ways of thinking and you stopped putting the effort into the changing of the thoughts. That's always what happens. So consistency, and on several levels. And these are the types of things that people are interested in and can find support for in terms of changing the way that they're thinking and behaving. So that's the thought. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll look forward to any feedback you may have. Please, write in the comments your thoughts around it. You'll see up, I think, again, near the heart, a heart. You can click it and subscribe to the channel if you're interested, or share a video would be great. And on a final note, I've had a few people ask me about my jewelry when I'm on these videos, and I'm happy to say that I believe everything that I've worn in all of my 4 videos so far has been handmade by my awesome friend Lindsay, who has a website, freedomseekercreations.com. And if you're interested, go there. She's got phenomenal variety of beautiful jewelry, and she also does a lot of custom stuff. So I actually asked her, I just gave her the name of a crystal, and could she make this? And I showed her a picture of a pair of earrings that I liked, and voila. She makes these phenomenal jewelry sets and individual pieces. They're great also for gift giving. But, and crystal energy is an energy as well. And for we who believe in the crystal energy, it's great to have some that we can wear and have on our being when we're working to create these new realities. So I just wanted to give her a shout out, and I appreciate you all, and I'll see you again.